Hi guy, and this section we will introduce how you guys can demonstrate for the forecasting by the regression model. So after you already learn about what the principle behind the regression model, how you can read and understand about the result of the regression model, and finally you learn how to just measure about the accuracies about the selection of the regression model. So this would be the time for you to apply it for the forecasting, because the forecasting will be still the ultimate goals of our course. Alright, so one more time in this one, I'm going to you for the beer 2. Okay, remember about the beer 2 if you still remember that. We use it for the window of the US beer for the Australia production of the beer in the quarter from like something like about 1956 into 2010 something, right? And because that's we want to just simplify everything, so I store the data from 1992. Okay, so that's beer 2, and to be the time for us to run for the time series linear regression model. I want to use for the beer 2 in the comparison to the trend, okay, plot for the season. That's what we already do in the section 5.4, right? And by this way I run for the model already with the inclusion of the trend variable and the 3 dummy variable of the season 2, 3, 4. That either data about if that will be in the quarter 2, 3, 4, remember? Okay, and after I already run for that, I assume that they will be assigned to the thick dark beer. Okay, thick dark beer, that will be the new object for the data. Alright, now I'm going to just use for the forecast function, right? Apply for the fit beer. Okay, if I gonna just do it, the data is to be applied for the forecast function, right? With here the forecast function, they automatically use for the based on the regression model, so they will just use the same regression model to just generate it for the futures, right? Okay, and I'm gonna just assign them into the appcast. That means forecast, that will be the new object. And I'm going to just do it for the autoplot. Okay, the autoplot for the appcast, and it should look like this one. And of course this is the time for you to demonstrate for the other layer. Okay, by like the X lab, that should be year, Y labs, that should be what would normally we say megaliter. Okay, right, and we want to ask for the CC title. Okay, CC title will be forecast of beer production using regression model. Okay, and that's really what we're gonna just do with that one. But however, we done with this one, right? This will be the basic forecasting based on time, the trend, and the season analysis only. Okay. It's in this case when you just have a one single variable. That should be the about the US beer, right? Remember about the US beer and beer 2. So Australia beer, we just have a one-time series, straightforward, and that should be all the thing we have. So that's the way we go and do with very simple regression model. But however, think about another one. Remember about the consumption, right? Remember about the data, but however, in terms of a time series of multiple regression. Okay, so in terms of a multiple regression, all right, so we one more time you for the US chain data. Okay, we're going one more time you for the US chain data, and remember about if we have the head of the US chain data. So remember we have the 5 different variable, including the consumption, the income, production, saving, and unemployment, and we want to just do the prediction about the consumption. Remember about the last section, right? Okay, now remember about last time when I use one more time for the time series regression model, and in this case I make it quite easy, like consumption, right? I just want them to fit with the of course data, right? Data equal to the US chain, right? And consumption, for the formula consumption, they will be have the formula of the income, and then we plot for the other kinds of stuff, including for here I want to have the saving, all right, and I want to have the unemployment. Okay, we here will just lay I'm interested in like doing for the forecasting about the model based on the 3 variable like that. Okay, yeah, and I have the time series like this one, and you know how to just demonstrate how to interpret it, right? On the time series, and this is the model. So I would say that will be fixed cons, all right, fixed con best, all right. That should be what the book is be assigned for the name, so I don't want to just make it really so far away from that. And x will equal to 4. That means 4 quarter ahead, right? That means 4 quarter ahead. Remember about that I want to just forecast about the next 5 year, the next 4 quarter in remember about last will be the last one. Let's check it later of the US chain. Okay, let's check it. Okay, and we have the data up to the quarter 3 of the 2016, and I want to have the data of, that mean this will be forecast for the next 4 quarter. Okay, including like this could be from Q4 2016 into Q3s of 2017, right? This is the data. Okay, and we hope that to do it all. Okay, now let's go and just check it like with the new data sets, and why I want to do for the new data frame. So I create data dot frame. That should be how I gonna just do it and create for the different data frame, and I want to have the sum income, and for the next 5 year for the next 4 quarter, I will assume that the income will be keep the same with the 1% increase for each, right, for each of them. So I will assume that will be income will increase constantly. Okay, 1% in the next 1% each quarter. Okay, each quarter in the next 4 quarter. Okay, right. The same thing when we just have the income. Not only the income, we have the saving, and with the saving we do it with the same. So assume that all of them will be 0.5. Okay, 0.5 and 0.5 and 0.5. Okay, you can do it the same like that, or you can do it like replicate it. Like if you want to do it like wrap function, right? The wrap function you can put it in like with 0.5, but that's appear like equal to x. That means 4 times, but you can say like that should mean x will the value 0.5 will happen replicated 5 x time. Here will be 4 times. So if I put it 4, that should be 5. Okay, and the same thing. So I do it the same. I will just copy for the assumption. So this is not the income but the saving, right? The saving will increase constantly like about 0.5% for each 4 month, 4 quarter. Last one, this will be for the unemployment. Unemployment, right? So equal to, so replicate 0%, okay, for the next 4 year. This will be x here will equal to 4, so this will be next 4 quarter. So constantly 0%. So here not the income but like unemployment, right? Okay, so that's new data. Yeah, and I close for the parenthesis. Okay, and now let's go and check it. Data frame. I make it wrong with one of the point. Okay, so yep. Okay, yeah. So I create a data frame with the different variable, including the income, right? That should be equal to 1 for the rest of them, saving equal to 0.5 for the rest of them, and unemployment for the rest of them equal to 0. And now I do for the forecasting. So I do the forecast, use the function forecast, and I apply for the model of the fit consumption best, right? Remember about that one. And yeah, and I want to apply for the new data. Okay, so that's mean in this one you apply for the new data. That you want to have the input variable equal to income. That's all be the data for the income in the next 4 quarters, saving for the next 4 quarters, and then unemployment for the next 4 quarters. So I would say play. Oh yeah, of course over here this would be better for me to create for the data. I would say like what new data. Okay, new data for forecasting, and run the data and new data forecast. Okay, right. So that will be the result of the forecasting. Remember, we had the point forecasting here, and we also created for the point forecasting, also for the what do people call the forecasting interval. However, because as we had the same assumption about the input, income, saving, and unemployment for each quarter, they don't have the change in the difference. So that's the reason why all the point forecasting for the next 4 quarters is the same with each other. If you want to change it, like you modify it a little bit, like with this one, I change it like about 0.5, you will see a little bit different. And you see like over here, right, in the quarter number 3, because it's the change of the income, so the input, so that's the reason why. Okay, but one more time I do it. All right. And this will be how I do it, and I will just assume that this will be the situation in which this will be the appcast dark up. That mean forecasting. Okay, this is the forecasting result in the up scenario. Okay, scenario. That means in the time like our kind of the economy will go up. In the next scenario, we have the this situation, okay, in which like we have the income increase 1%, saving increase 0.5%, and unemployment will stay the same with 0% increase. Now that should be the best case. Another case. So in this case, we forecast for the Dow scenario. Okay, scenario, that mean here the variable would be like with the with, I will assume like income decrease 1%. It's term, it's quarter. Okay, this quarter. Another one would be like the saving decrease 0.5% this quarter. okay, and unemployment is the same, okay, the same with unemployment. Okay, so now I do it for this one, and how we're gonna do it. So I one more time create for all the data like this, but with another one. Okay, so I create for this model, new data over here one more time, but I will not no longer for I would say like for Dow, right? Data frame, they will increase for the income, no longer that should be -1, right? Remember, but like they decrease from -1, okay, or I would just repeat it like 4 times, and I will not use it but replicate, okay. Income will decrease, okay, saving will decrease, wrap saving -0.5, right? Remember, decrease for 0.5, and unemployment for the same, okay, will increase for 0%, and I'm going to just do it for the downtime, and this will be our work when we apply for that, right? Forecast model, and then we use the fit consumption best, and then we use new data, assume with the new data, okay, but in the downtime. This will be the assumption and all the highlight measurement about the next 4 semester. Alright, however, I would say them and appcast down, right? Okay, why I'm gonna do it, I'm going to plot the 2 result of the 2 scenario, okay, into for comparison, okay, for comparison, okay, and the way for me to do it would be like auto plot, okay, with the auto plot, and I want you for the US chain, just you for the first one will be the consumption. Alright, auto plot, if I do it for that, I have the consumption data. Of course, I add for another layer, I add for other layer, so auto plot, and I add for the layer of the appcast dot up, right? This will be the data, and I don't want it for the prediction interval will equal to true over here. Clarify about that. Series name equal to, I want to say like increase scenario, right? So if I do it, what happened over here? E2 for this plot. I do something wrong. I don't know why, but it looked like there's some problem, and I don't know why. Oh, sorry. Of course, that's not the auto plot, but the auto layer. Okay, yeah. In this case, that's we assume for the another case when we had the increased scenario. So they could be the forecasting for the next 4 quarter. In the case, very good scenario of the data. Alright, and of course I will add another layer. In this case, I copy for the code one more time, outer layer, but now I want to compare them with the down layer, and this will be the decrease. Okay, another layer, right? It's look a little bit good now, and the thing I want to do would be just like make it a little bit better. So X lab, that should be year, right? Y lab, this should be in what we're gonna just say, the percentage change in the US consumption. Okay, and I wanna do it for the GC title, whatever GC title will be, or forecast of the US consumption. okay, and I want to change for the series. I don't want to change it for the legend title. So guy, remember, okay, right, and then I want to change for the color equal to the guy legend, remember, and I want to put for the title equal to the new title for scenario, okay, right, and I have this one here. Is so it up here we have the high case in term like we have the very kind of positive, very kind of like good scenario about the economy. So we have the US consumptions around nearly like 2% increase in the consumption. However, in another case when we have the decrease scenario, so the increase around like about, I'm not sure, but in about minus 0.4, something like that. Okay, so that's the case like when we already run it and create it for the different kind of scenario, and you can do it for the another one, right? With another kind of like prediction, and they do it for the kind of like prediction interval. You can do it the same, and the people do it with the another assumption, and I can do it one more time, right? Prediction interval demo, okay, prediction interval demo, and in this case one more time I want to use it for the fish.con, and I create for the series with the only one single variable. This is a simple variable between the data over here. One more time, US chain, and I want to have the consumption, right? I have the consumption over here. We just enter context with the income only, okay, and of course I x will equal to 4. I assume this will be 4, right? And I want for the app forecasting for the average. Okay, so I will just apply for the forecasting and the fits.con. Okay, that should be the model. New data equal to, I want to have the new data frame. So I want to have the new data frame, and data frame will be created by, actually I can normally do it separately, like the data frame with the same with what I have already done before. So with the data frame, and I want to just do it for the income, we're equal to replicate it, and I want to have the mean values of all the US chain of the income. Okay, so that's way, and replicate it for about 4 times, right? If I do it, I create for this one, and you know what exactly that mean. So the US chain, right, remember, and we have the income. This should be all the variable, all the income throughout the time. But however, when we measure for the mean values of that means we measure for the average of all the increase, all the percentage change over the time, and that's equal to about 0.71. that means 0.71%. And of course we can save this one, or we can do the same, and I do want to do for the replicated for the data that has been like in this way. I use for assume that the income in the next 4 quarters, okay, will be the same, will be equal to the average chain of income over time, right? So that's the reason why I created for the next income replicate for the data of the income in the next 4 quarters. like 4 times in the next 4 quarter equal to the average. And this will be how we're gonna do it. And we copy for the data. We do it with one more time for the new data. Okay, and that should be how we're gonna do it. Replicate it for the all the time, like that's one. Okay, and I have a point forecasting, right? And I would say like this appcast.aav. That means average case. Right now, this will be forecasting. Okay, it's okay, right? So forecasting in the average scenario with the income increase equal to average change over time. Alright, now in another case, I want to do it for forecasting in the best scenario. Okay, in the up scenario, when the income increase equal like 5% each quarter in the next 4 quarters. Okay, so in this case I would do it the same, right? I do it for forecasting. I apply for the model fit.com. Okay, and I wanted you for the data frame like new data. Okay, the new data that should be equal to data frame, and I want to create for the replicate. Okay, sorry, replicate. I want to do for the replicate, and 5%. That will be happen for like 4 times is equal to x, and I want to close this one, close this one. Okay, I make it something wrong about this one. I don't know why. Replicate income, and oh yeah, of course. Alright, I have to clarify about the data, right? The income will equal to something. Replicate it like 4 times, right? I like put it here like 4, the same. Okay, and I do it for forecasting like this case, and I will assume them will be appcast.app scenario. Okay, alright, now I do it with one more time with the worst scenario. In the worst scenario, I can do it like forecasting for the down scenario when the decrease by 5% in each. Okay, and do it with the same but just down. Fit new data now, replicate it but minus 5, and I do it the same. Okay, should be the time for me to just do all the assumption about autoplot, to do the thing like that. Okay, consumption, but I add for now the auto layer. Okay, and auto layer like appcast.eav. Okay, pi equal to true. Okay, series equal to average. Sorry. Scenario. Okay. There's some problem about error in XLab non-numeric for binary. I do. Yep. Resolve. Okay, this is the point. Okay, I create for the 5 different one, and this one have been kind of like a little bit overwhelming on the other, but however you can see the comparison between the 3 of them, right? In case like you not feel comfortable with that, you can change all the kind of like prediction interval equal to 4, and you can see how the graph will be. Okay, you see all of them right over here. Right, this would be for the average scenario, for the kind of increase scenario and the decrease scenario. Alright, and this will be the way for us to just create it for the very good one. How about like apply for the forecasting on the regression model. Thank you so much.